listening to your stuff and even like taking it back, not your first album, but back to The Problem, and you had Meth on there a few times. I was always intrigued because you've worked with these dudes for so long. When you're doing something like the John 316 or Spotlight or something like that, and that's now 20 years old or whatever.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it is, right? Yeah.
It's wild because you had known and been working with these dudes already in 2005 for uh, more than a decade. Um, so the thing I'm trying to get is a lot of things from this one question, but seeing what Genius or the Genius at the time was on Cold Chillin', then applying to what you're doing on Nature Sounds and you're, the producer, you're the artists. How were some of those lessons you learned from the Genius to Cold Chillin' era, the Words from a Genius album? How did you apply those to you as an artist, you as the person up in front?
Yeah, all of it was a lesson. But whether it was from Jizza's first album to the making of Iron Man, the Liquid Swords, um, I've been fortunate to be around the creation of a lot of albums. I've been fortunate to be able to go into different buildings, whether it's the Def Jam building, the Loud building, the Sony building,
You did a
and
lot with Epic. You did a lot with Epic.
yeah, did a lot with Epic. Yup. Yeah.
Razor sharp.
So, yup, razor sharp. So I had the privilege to be able to go into these places to see how, each one worked, going on, especially like I was with Meth a lot, so I seen how Def Jam really worked a lot at them in them days and how they propelled their artists and, you see the teamwork, how they say the team, what's the word saying?
Oh,
Teamwork makes the
teamwork makes
dream
the
work.
dream work. Yep.
Yeah. So I actually got to see that. I got to see how Loud did what they did in the beginning and how they really pushed Wu and um. So you apply all that. So when I first did Love Hell or Right, it was a lesson for me. It was a lesson that was kind of crazy because I love different artists. Right, Prince is one of my favorite artists. Prince is dope, and Prince his first album, he played every instrument. He wrote, produced every song, and mixed it himself. And and when I did Love Hella Right, I originally mixed Love Hella Right myself. I said I can do this. I did it. Um, I look back at it now, like maybe I shouldn't have did that. So, but it was a lesson. It was a lesson that because the album was great but now it made me really look into sound and really respect the engineer and respect how to get the sound out that you really want. Um, and I took that into when I did the problem, trying to fine tune the sound. Like every project I think I go into, not I think, every project I go into, I always try to make sure the sound is better than the last. Try to make sure that the sound really sounds good. Like Dr. Dre's sound always sounds incredible. It's just something about his sound, you know. Um, some people tried to tell me, well, his secret is this, or his secret is that, and you try it, but that's not the secret. So whatever his secret is, that's his secret. He gonna do that. So I figured out, you know what? I gotta find my own way and come up with make sure my sound just sound incredible. I can't make my sound just like I don't make my beats to sound like nobody else's beats. I can't make my sound to sound like nobody else's sound.
Well,
The only thing you want the clarity, you want the bottom, you want the highs, you want the full package. Like I always said, I want to make sure that when you hear a piano note in my songs, it sound like it's floating on air. So that's where I'm at now, trying to or making that happen. So, and it's still a learning process. Everything is still a learning process. So I think every album you do, you take something away with you. Um, Even like walking this album, this is the most hands on I've ever been on with an album before.
Hmm.
The most hands-on, like I'm hands-on with everything because I want to make sure everything goes right 100% all the way around the board. I need to see this. I need to understand what's going on over here, what y'all doing here. How we gonna market, how we gonna it's all a part because at the end of the day, it's my baby. And if I
Right.
just put it in somebody else's hands,
Well, the thing that's interesting, you're saying that, and like we keep going back to the growth and development of it and the science of it, because Mighty Healthy to me, ironically, the mix and the sound and the feel of it is much more muddy in a lot of ways.
yeah.
Uh,
Yep. Yep. And that was intentional.
so why do you think it works so well on that?
Well, because of what we was trying to accomplish. I think we accomplished what we was trying to accomplish. Um, like what we went for, we understood how to do it at that time.
Okay.
It's like we understood, like, we want first of all, a lot of our music back then was muddy, dirty. Like I tried to filter certain songs so much to get it dirty. Like just recently, I went back to my ASR 10 and I was going through some of my old discs. I found some discs from like 1998, 97, 96, and I'm listening. I'm like, whoa, hold on. So I'm going through my filters. I'm like, why, like I filtered this crazy, like, why did I do that? But I know why. I was trying to get a certain muddiness and sound. I don't do that no more. I don't do that no more. It's like, if I filter, I learned how to filter like True Master. He was the master of filtering.
Hmm.
Now you listen to True Master horns and the way he like, cause he wasn't filtering. I was filtering for bottom or highs. He was filtering to make sounds.
It's a
So when
difference. Yeah.
yeah, it's a difference. It's a big difference. So his horns always had a certain sounds because of how he filtered. He wasn't trying to muddy it up. He wasn't trying to brighten it up like that. He was trying to make a certain sound. And if you listen, when you listen to songs like Fish or you listen to songs like Brooklyn Zoo, and his filter game was crazy. So it's like now,
Fish might be my favorite song on Iron Man, actually.
yeah, oh yeah, but his filter game is True
Yeah.
Master filter game is ridiculous. Like, and True Master, he's a master. He's a master at what he does. And it took me forever. I learned how to filter horns, like, or the reasoning for horns, um, when I did the Saga Continues.
Okay.
Because then I understood. I'm like, wait, hold on, because now I'm getting real horns, but I don't want it to sound. First, I was doing with the horns like synthesizer horns, horns that came, you playing them horns, and they sound so clean and crisp, but they have nothing to it. You know what I mean? You can EQ it and maybe get, put something underneath, play like, whether you put a trombone or a tuba or something, or a French horn underneath, or a trumpet or something to get a little bottom, then you're gonna get the high from the trumpet and you can always EQ. But when you listen to songs back in the 50s or 60s that was doing horns, and you're not going to get them horns.
Hmm.
But I learned how. That's when I said, this is what True Master's doing. And I figured it out. And I figured out how to get them horns to sound not like True Master, you know what I mean? But to get the certain sound that I'm looking for, the
Right.
texture. So filtering for me became different around 2016, 2015, 2016 than it was in 1996, 97, 98, and 2000. It took all them years to get there.